on, wake up, cockle-girl, wake up, I've got something so funny to tell you. What? What's the matter then? What's going on? Oh, you won't believe the story I've just heard from a couple of those adoption bears. Oh, it was so funny. Well, it better be if you've woken us all up from our siesta at the castle. It was. One of the adoption bears, she's just arrived, and she was saying how, you know, at school all the children nowadays, they all take these packed lunches. Oh, yes, I've heard about that, yes. Oh, they take these packed lunches, but, wow, you know what's happening, don't you? You know what? They're all getting as big as you. As big as fat as you, lots of the children. What's wrong with being big and fat? Well, nothing if you're a bear, but a lot if you're only 8 or 9. Oh, so what's it, the packed lunch? Yes, packed lunches they all get, full of chocolates and crisps and sausage rolls. Oh, sounds good to me. Yes, but you're a bear, not a child. Oh, right. So, well, the adoption bear, little Caroline, she'd sent a message to the castle to say, what can we do to help? How can we tell these children not to keep eating all this chocolate and sausage rolls and cakes and yummy, yum, yum, yum. No, listen, serious. So anyway, she sent a message to the castle, and Rugal, you know, the dreaded dragon. Oh yes, Rugal, yes, our great friend Rugal. Yes, well, he said he'd drop into the school, see what he could do to help. So that's exactly what he did. Yesterday, lunchtime, there are all the children sitting there with their lunch boxes. Out comes all the packets of crisps and the noise it makes. Rattle, 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 crunch, crunch, crunch. Worse than your snoring. Well, so it was. Suddenly, this big shadow appears over the school, and all the children look up, and through, because well, you know, it's summer, so all the windows were open, and the big door was open, and through the door, Rugal flies in, flies round the refectory, round the canteen, round where they will have their dinner, and says to the children, you shouldn't be eating all this junk food. And, do you know what he did? What? Well, children seeing a dragon and not knowing, because he is called the dreaded dragon, not knowing he's really our friend and very funny and very tame, really, isn't he? Oh, yes, he is. Well, the children, they all jumped under the table, thinking they were about to be attacked. So Rugal does no more, opens his mouth, and flames, I bet. That's it. Incinerated it. Incinerated the lot. Sausage rolls, cakes, all the cream, all melted everywhere. Chocolate running down. What did the teachers say? Oh, they'd gone. They were first under the table, the teachers. So, well, this little Caroline, the adoption bear of one of the children, she said, don't be afraid, children. Come back out and meet Rugal. So, of course, by this time he'd landed, and he'd made himself a sort of nice size for little children, so they weren't too frightened. You know how he changes size all the time, up and down, in and out. Yes, I know, he is magical. Well, he was saying to the children, look, there's lots of better things you can eat than all this rubbish. You've got to tell your parents. So they said, well, such as what? So he said, well, you know what Rugal's like. He eats lots of fish, but you can't really take fish to school for your lunch, can you? Oh, no, good grief, they'd all have to come home. The school would smell. Well, he said, what about lots of fruit and veg? And the children said, I don't like fruit and veg. Oh, you know what these kids are like. Totally spoiled, living on pizzas and curries and... Oh, it's done better and better to me. Well, there you go. So, anyway, he says, I will show you. Flies back out the door. All the children are left thinking, oh, what are we going to eat now? Look at all this mess. Got nothing to eat, we're all hungry, we're all in a mess, we're covered in melted chocolate and singed sausage roll. You should have heard the headmaster. He came in waving his stick and saying, who's responsible for this? And the children all shouted, Rugal, the dreaded dragon. What did Headmaster do? What do you think he did? He ran away again. Oh, it was so funny the way Caroline was telling it. Well, anyway, Rugel comes back, sees this great big pot in the middle of the canteen, in what used to be like the kitchen, drops all these apples in it, and says to the children, now, you will like apples. And little tiny flamed breath this time, he cooked them, cooked all the apples, and then, you know what else he brought? What? He brought not very much, just a little bundle of blackberries, and he squashed it up with his wing, squashed all up these blackberries he did, like that they went, all the blackberries, and then he poured the blackberry juice, because it didn't have any sugar or anything in it, just pure blackberry juice, poured it over the apples, and said to the children, there you go, blackberry and apples. And the children, they all rushed and got spoons, and they were all in that pot, and they said, this is delicious, Rugel, we like this. And then one of the teachers, one of the braver ones, well, she was a miss. You know how the misses ones are brave. Oh, they were when I was at school. Yes, Miss Maddock we had. She was lovely. Yes, well, because they were all older, weren't they, the miss ones? Well, yes, they were then. Well, she comes and says, right, children, in future, tell your mums, bring you apples and blackberries or bananas and perhaps just one biscuit or something. And the children said, oh, sounds all right, but won't be as good, will it, just eating it raw. And so Rugel and Caroline, so forgets the adoption bear, the little girl really, who said in the first place, she said to Rugel, will you keep eye on these children in future? And Rugel, of course, said, because you know really he is a magic companion, isn't he? The magic friend to children. And he said, of course I will. And he said to the children, as long as you always have some fruit in your lunch boxes, then you never know. One of these days I might just come back and see how you're all doing. And, because we've now frightened all the teachers away, tell you what, he said, you can all have the afternoon off. And the children cheered and, well, they finished up the apple and blackberry first, because they liked that. And then this nice teacher, Miss whatever her name was, she said to the children, well, I think that is enough excitement for one day, but you can't all go home, because your parents won't know you come in. They might not be there, they'd be at work. I tell you what, she said, I will take you in and I'll read you a story. And guess what she had? What? She had our book.
The Magic of Wynghorran Castle. Find out more about the bears. Visit Wynghorran Castle. Just search it. You'll find it on Google. Take care. Thanks for looking.